By the mid-21st century, Suzhou had transformed into a shimmering beacon of technological power, where ancient waterways flowed beneath autonomous logistics and intelligent systems. Its historic canals were no longer just symbols of the past, but arteries for data, transport, and seamless urban coordination driven by artificial intelligence. Towering high-rises lined the skyline, each embedded with intelligent infrastructures that optimize energy, security, and human movement in real time. Every element of daily life, from traffic flow to water distribution, was orchestrated by sophisticated algorithms operating silently in the background. Efficiency became the city's defining characteristic, a perfectly synchronized machine that rarely faltered or slowed. Yet, beneath this polished surface of optimization, a subtle unease began to take root among the people of Suzhou. As algorithms grew in scale and complexity, their decision-making processes became increasingly opaque and difficult to question. Citizens started to wonder whether fairness and human judgment were being quietly replaced by invisible lines of code. These concerns were not sudden, but rather the slow accumulation of unanswered questions buried beneath convenience and speed. Decades earlier, artificial intelligence had been introduced with boundless optimism and promises of a better future for all. AI systems were meant to eliminate human error, reduce prejudice, and create a more rational and equitable society. They were deployed across healthcare, justice systems, public services, and economic platforms at an unprecedented scale. Algorithms decided credit scores, medical priorities, legal risks, and even the direction of urban development. At first, the results appeared impressive: faster decisions, lower costs, and measurable efficiency gains. But over time, subtle flaws began to emerge, hidden deep within datasets and training models. Algorithmic bias, though rarely intentional, started affecting marginalized communities disproportionately. Historical inequalities were quietly reinforced rather than corrected, amplified by data drawn from imperfect realities. The systems designed to improve fairness began revealing cracks in their ethical foundations. Public trust, a critical pillar of any functional society, slowly began to erode. People felt powerless when faced with decisions made by machines they could neither see nor understand. Whispers of concern grew into public debates, academic warnings, and eventually street-level protests. Questions echoed throughout the city. Who is responsible when an algorithm makes a mistake? And how can a decision be challenged if its logic remains inaccessible to human reasoning? The promise of a technological utopia now carried the risk of digital disenfranchisement. That tension reached its breaking point in 2042 with what became known as the Silent Exclusion scandal. A citywide housing allocation algorithm was exposed for systematically overlooking lower-income districts. The bias was not explicit, but deeply embedded in historical data used to train the system. Thousands of families were unfairly denied access to improved living conditions without ever knowing why. Public outrage followed, forcing authorities to confront the true power of algorithmic governance. It became clear that algorithms were no longer neutral tools, but instruments shaping society itself. From this crisis emerged a bold and unprecedented vision for accountability. The SAP Algorithmic Accountability Nexus, known as SAAN, was born within the Suzhou Industrial Park. SAAN was not just a regulatory body, but a hybrid of research institute, oversight commission, and innovation lab. Its mission was simple yet revolutionary: ensure
Cross-referencing with
transparency,
the algorithmic
fairness,
health metrics
and
now.
accountability in every algorithm. This marked a shift from reactive damage control to proactive, human-centered AI governance. SAAN was built upon three foundational pillars designed to dismantle the algorithmic black box. The first was the Algorithmic Audit Bureau, responsible for continuous system evaluations. The second was a public transparency registry, openly documenting system purposes and data sources. The third empowered citizens directly through review panels and public feedback mechanisms. Together, these pillars restored a sense of visibility and trust between technology and society. One of SAAN's most impactful innovations was the Algorithmic Impact Assessment, or AIA. AIA evaluated potential social, ethical, and economic risks before any system went live. Bias detection, data provenance, and stress testing became mandatory development stages. Developers were no longer just writing code, but shaping tools with societal consequences. The Suzhou Industrial Park played a critical role by aligning government, academia, and industry. It recognized that ethical accountability was essential for sustainable innovation. Although resistance existed, collaboration proved stronger than opposition. Some demonstrated that transparency ultimately strengthened the innovation rather than restricting it. Healthcare systems were among the first to show measurable improvements under SAAN oversight. Efficiency was balanced with equity, ensuring vulnerable populations were no longer overlooked. Public confidence began to return as people saw tangible, human-centered results. SAAN later introduced meta-AI systems designed to monitor other algorithms. These tools could detect hidden biases and explain complex decision-making processes. Technology, when properly designed, became its own ethical safeguard.
I agree, but the current...
Beyond regulation, SAAN cultivated a culture of responsible AI innovation. Education, startups, and global research partnerships flourished around ethical design principles. Suzhou evolved into a global model for accountable smart city development.
The projections for
Urban
Q3
planning now
significantly
embedded
than
ethics
anticipated.
alongside efficiency from the very beginning.
Sector is showing remarkable growth.
International delegations soon arrived to study SAAN's
principles.
governance
We must
framework.
ensure that every step forward is guided.
Global institutions cited Suzhou as a benchmark for responsible AI leadership. By 2015, SAAN had reshaped the relationship between citizens and intelligence systems. People were no longer passive recipients, but active participants in technological oversight. As AI advanced further, SAAN continuously adapted its methods and safeguards. Human-in-the-loop oversight became essential for increasingly autonomous systems.